Hi there, and welcome to my cozy fall bake with me. I am truly so excited for today's video. It may be my favorite video of the year with my holiday bake with me. Just any bake with me when it comes to seasonal foods is at the top of my list. And I cannot wait to bring these delicious and better yet, healthy recipes to all of you today. So on the menu today, it is packed. As you can see behind me, I have some of the ingredients out, but we've got a lot to do. First, we have a pumpkin pie baked oatmeal. Next, we have a marbled chocolate pumpkin muffin. This one is a really big hit. Then we have a healthy COPYCAT Starbucks pumpkin loaf. I used to be like a Starbucks junkie back in the day. In my early 20s, I loved myself a Starbucks. Who didn't? And I remember the pumpkin loaf from Starbucks being the most moist, delicious pumpkin loaf ever. And now I'm excited because we have perfected it here in the Spiers kitchen. We have made it unbelievably healthy, delicious, and moist. We've really brought it all in, all of the flavor, and of course we've crammed in a ton of nutrition. So I'm excited to spend the day with all of you today. We also have some fun like googly eyes that we're making that you can put on top of your marbled chocolate pumpkin muffins and any other delicious treats that you have during the season that are a healthy alternative to those ones that are at craft stores that you honestly don't need to buy. These are so much healthier. So we're gonna have a lot of fun today. I'm excited to spend the day with all of you. And if you're also excited for all of these delicious, nutrient-dense, healthy baked goods, then give this video a big thumbs up. That way I know to make more of these for you in the future. So we're gonna get started with the pumpkin pie baked oatmeal, and either this is the smartest trick I've ever done, or I'm just trying to cut down on dishes because the amount of baking we have. But I have all of my dry ingredients here in this large glass beaker. We're going to toss that into our bowl, and then we're going to slowly fold in all of our wet ingredients, grease a 9x9 baking dish, throw it into the oven at 350, and voila, pumpkin pie baked oatmeal. Okay, so I mentioned this in my fall decorate with me, but I think I had my first Hobby Lobby experience, and I bought these little measuring cups. They're little leaves, and I knew the second I saw them that they needed to be included in this video. They are so cute, and they're sparking all of the fall hygge joy. If you didn't see my video from last week, I will link that for you up here in the cards. It was all about hyggifying your diet for the cozy fall season. Check that out after today's video if you want some extra cozy inspiration. But this definitely sparks the hygge joy. So it is that simple and that easy. Make sure you put it into a well-greased baking dish. Now we're gonna pop in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. We'll take a peek at it then and see how much time it needs. If not, we will fully let it cool. chocolate pumpkin muffin with homemade googly eyes. So this one is such a fun recipe because anything marbled just adds interest. And then if we add pumpkin with chocolate and then the addition of our own pumpkin spice homemade googly eyes. I know that these are at craft stores all of the time and at your local grocery stores, but their ingredients are less than ideal. And honestly, they are such a cinch to make on your own at home, and you can customize it. You can either use white chocolate as the eyes, or as I'm doing today, I'm using the Lily's pumpkin spice baking nibs. I love these ones. They're delicious. We're gonna bake these on a pan for just a little bit, and then we're gonna add in the Lily's or the Enjoy Life mini chocolate chips in the center. And voila, you have your very own at-home spooky googly eyes that are pumpkin spice flavor that can go on top of your marbled chocolate pumpkin muffin. So I'm going to flip you guys around, show you everything we have here in front of us. I'm loving this hack that I chose to go with today. It definitely saves me on a lot of little dishes, but this smells incredible behind me. It definitely is looking beautiful and seasonal, our baked oatmeal, but I'm really, really excited for this next one. If I didn't mention this already, I do want to mention it now that of course, all of the ingredients in today's video and all of the recipes will be linked for you in the description box down below. But we have 1 cup of pumpkin puree, half a cup of maple syrup, 2 eggs, a little bit of coconut milk at room temperature, vanilla extract, raw cacao, chocolate chips. I have cassava flour, allspice, nutmeg, pumpkin pie spice, ginger, and cinnamon with some baking soda in here. We're going to mix all of our dry ingredients together. Sans the chocolate, we're going to hold that for the end when we split the batter in half, because half is going to be the regular pumpkin batter and then half is going to be the raw cacao pumpkin batter. That way we can get that beautiful marbled look. Now we're going to divide the batter in half into 2 separate bowls, and then in one of the bowls we're going to add in our raw cacao and our chocolate chips into the chocolate side, and we'll leave the other just simply pumpkin. So I'm using parchment paper liners today just because it's cute, it's different. And now we're going to spoon in the pumpkin batter on all of them. We're gonna do about a tablespoon for all of them and then go back around and do a tablespoon of the chocolate on top. Okay, so at this point, you can also give your muffins like a good shake. If you wanna mix up the marbling a little bit more. If you overmixed, which I did overmix a little bit with my chocolate, cassava flour is one of those flours you cannot overmix. It gets very thick. So my chocolate's definitely more thick than the pumpkin because I was mixing and mixing and mixing to combine. but the orange, the pumpkin one, is marbling just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop these in the oven. Okay, I'm taking a quick tea break to reset. I have learned over the years of being on YouTube how to take a rest, take care of myself, and not push myself to do like 10 recipes in a day. So I'm taking just a quick spearmint tea break because spearmint is really helpful for me because it gives me like a good boost without the caffeine. It's definitely stimulating, the spearmint, but it is an herbal tea as well. So I love to have that. And then also just to help keep myself energized and leveled and calm throughout the remainder of the day, I am going to be taking 2 of my BioOptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough. If you're a subscriber of my channel, then you know how much I love and adore all of the products from BioOptimizers, but especially their Magnesium Breakthrough. The reason that the BioOptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough differs than all of the other magnesiums on the market, as it does combine all 7 elemental forms of magnesium into one convenient capsule. That is revolutionary, and it's something that BioOptimizers has truly changed the game with. Oftentimes you'll see 1, maybe 2, but mainly 1 form of magnesium, and that's all that somebody would take in their magnesium supplement. Whereas BioOptimizers differs. They have all 7 elemental forms. So oftentimes we only think about magnesium either for sleep or for digestive health or to help with relaxation. But magnesium is actually incredible for our energy and for our cognition as well. And that's why I'm taking it right now in the middle of the day. You guys know I like to take 1 of them in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 2 before bed. That's typically the rhythm that I go about. If it's a little bit more of a stressful time, 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 2 before bed, I kind of switch things around, but my morning and evening are always staples. So I am going to take this now, enjoy a cup of tea, kind of relax, recharge, and then hop back in the kitchen for some more delicious and of course healthy fall baked recipes. You have to let me know in the comment section down below so far which one is your favorite that you're most excited to try. And if you do want to try the BioOptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough, you can use my link and my code Jessica10 for 10% off. So I will have that linked for you in the description box down below, as well as the first pinned comment. We're gonna go ahead and make our googly eyes. Like I said, you could use white chocolate chips. I am using the Lily's pumpkin spice, and you're just gonna line these up on your baking dish in a little row. And then you're gonna wanna pop these into the oven and just keep an eye on them. It does take about 5 minutes, but you don't want to overbake them because you still want them to be a circle. So just keep an eye, stay close to your oven while these are in the oven. Oh my goodness, these smell like an international delight coffee creamer. Oh, it smells so good. So you can see some of them were starting to go a little dark. I was trying to clean up the kitchen a little bit, but the key is now to pop on. You wanna let them cool just a little bit, right? You don't want it like smoking hot, but while they're still tacky, you wanna pop on your regular chocolate chips in the center for the eyes. And honestly, I just feel like it's the cutest little hack to make your very own googly eyes. They smell delicious and they're not full of all of those funky ingredients of the ones that you buy at the store. So if you want them to melt just so slightly, you can see they're already melting, but you could put them in the oven for max 1 minute total, and it will melt the center. Okay, this next one is an absolute cinch. I just got Sawyer home from school, and the bus is going to be here in 10 minutes. So I want to show you guys that you can quickly pull together this one in a crunch. So these are healthy apple carrot pancake bites, and I will link the pan for you guys in the description box down below. And these are made completely in the blender, which again is key to the simplicity of this recipe. So I'm going to throw all of my dry ingredients in the blender, give it a quick pulse, and then I'm going to add the wet ingredients, blend that together really quickly, spray down my pan with avocado oil, and then throw them into the oven for 18 to 22 minutes. This is only my second time using this pan, so I'm still kind of playing around with how long I need to bake them for, but I'm gathering it's gonna be right around 20 minutes. So I'm excited for you guys to try this one. My kids love this one, and we've had friends over and play dates, and every kid who's in our house that tries this recipe absolutely devours them. I have to make double, sometimes triple batches, and these ones equally freeze beautifully. So we're gonna kind of quickly cruise through this one before the bus gets here. And last but certainly not least, and I feel like I do this all of the time, I save the best for last. It is the Starbucks pumpkin loaf. And the critical thing when it comes to trying to recreate a copycat version of the Starbucks loaf is that their loaf is dense and extremely moist. And so to find that balance where it doesn't get chunky, chewy, and dry is a hard thing to do when you're trying to use healthier ingredients. And so I'm very excited to say that we have definitely accomplished that with this recipe, and I cannot wait for you guys to give this one a try. Also, as you saw earlier in the video, the cream cheese frosting that I'm making for the pumpkin oatmeal bake, I will be putting that on in the morning, but you have already seen it at this point in the video. You could also drizzle that on top of this Starbucks oat loaf if you're hosting like a fall get together for girls, like a book club or a wine night, or even a brunch, and of course for Thanksgiving with family and friends. That would be a really great addition, but we're gonna throw everything together in the bowl. This one comes together really easily. It does take a while to bake. Personally, I think that it does take at least 50 minutes, if not a full hour to bake in the oven. So that is one thing that you want to pay attention to. If you're short on time, give yourself an ample amount of time to let this recipe bake all the way through and fully cool before you flip it out onto the cooling rack and actually slice it. Okay, so we've got all of our ingredients here. One of the most critical elements is the olive oil. You could use coconut oil. I've tried it with both. I personally just like the taste and texture that olive oil gives. So we have 1.5 cups of olive oil. We have 1.5 cups of coconut sugar, 4 pasteurized eggs, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds, and then for our flours, I'm using 2 cups of tiger nut flour, 2 cups of brown rice flour, 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. Then I have 1 teaspoon of ground allspice, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, and then I do have 2 cans of pumpkin puree, but we need about 1 3/4. 2 full cans tends to be too much, and 1 is not enough. So it's around 26 ounces of pumpkin puree. This is exciting because it was pouring rain just like a few hours ago. Now the sun is out, it's crystal clear, which I love the fact that we have a lot of natural light, especially for this recipe, because I have a feeling this may be one of the most popular recipes from today's video because of the cult following and love for the Starbucks pumpkin loaf. Most of you know that I get my tiger nut flour, all of my flours actually, from Thrive Market. If you don't belong to Thrive Market, I will have my link for you down below. I am truly such a believer in their products, and that is where I get my tiger nut flour. So I oftentimes get asked for substitutions for tiger nut flour because it's not a typical flour that is in most grocery stores. I tend to recommend sprouted brown rice flour, which is the other 2 cups of flour that we're using. So you could just double, and you could do 4 cups of sprouted brown rice flour, or you could do 2 cups of brown rice flour with 2 cups of oat flour. that would be my best recommendations in lieu of tiger nut is to use sprouted brown rice or oat flour. All we have left is our pumpkin puree and our pumpkin seeds, which will go on at the very end. So like I mentioned, this recipe comes together in a cinch, and I don't want you guys to think after today's video that all of the canned pumpkin puree that we're using doesn't pack a nutritional punch, because that quite frankly is not the case. Canned pumpkin is a wonderful source of vitamin A, vitamin K2, copper, potassium, and fiber. It's actually a beautiful source of fiber. So if you're somebody who's looking to increase your nutrition in baked goods, you can easily add in canned pumpkin, canned sweet potato, canned butternut squash. Like, these are great staples to have on hand in your pantry. And just because they're a canned vegetable doesn't mean that they're not packed with nutrition. So obviously we're not using any refined sugar. We're using flours that are very rich in fiber and minerals, which is really critically important. We're using healthy fats via our olive oil. We use that full fat coconut milk, and then we used 4 pasture raised eggs. And so all of this collectively together leads to a really nutrient dense alternative. So you can either grease your loaf pan or just line it with parchment paper. I'm going to be lining it with parchment paper just for easy, faster cleanup. You'll want to fill it about halfway because it definitely does rise during the baking process. So I have 2 loaves here in front of me. And then because I hand wash these, I've already gone ahead and hand washed this. I'll probably put the remainder in here with a few chocolate chips for the kids, because this is the perfect size for lunch boxes, and I'll just sprinkle on a few chocolate chips on top. So I just did the toothpick test and it came out perfectly, and they smell delicious. But now I'm going to let them cool here on the countertop for 5 minutes. At that point, I'm going to use the parchment paper and kind of wiggle them out onto the cooling rack, and then trust me, you need to let them cool fully. Otherwise, if you don't and you cut it too soon, unfortunately, it will be crumbly. Also, with that being said, if you do overmix the batter and overmix your flour, unfortunately, it can leave your loaves crumbly as well. If you're nervous that you could fall into that camp, then I would recommend doing 1 full cup of olive oil and then substituting that last 1/3 of a cup with coconut oil, because as the coconut oil cools, it will hold everything together. So if you're nervous that you could potentially overmix your batter or not let things fully cool, then potentially you may want to just make that substitution in the beginning of the recipe. If not, go ahead and make it as is. And either way, I know that you will absolutely love this copycat recipe. So I'm going to go ahead, make myself a cup of tea, let these fully cool, and then I'm going to enjoy a slice of the pumpkin loaf, or maybe the carrot apple pancake bite, or the marbled muffin, or potentially a slice of the pumpkin baked oatmeal. I have a lot of options, but I want to hear from you in the comment section down below which recipe or recipes you're most excited to try. And if you liked this video, you can let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. And now the subscribe button is right over here on the screen. Give that a click, that way you don't miss a single video. And I hope to see you back here next Thursday.